Hello there, my name is Michael Martin, and I have just started my very first blog. And this blog is called the BestYouRevolution. And what I want to tell you is why I'm doing it, why I want you to be a part of it, and also I want to comment on the very first blog post that I've done, and I believe I did that on Monday. And this is why I'm doing it. I've been teaching ethics at a state college for about 5 years, and I've taught theory and a little bit of practice. And as I've taught more and more, I begin to see the impact of the ideas and thoughts that my students have on a daily basis, and how what I'm conveying to them and teaching them is impacting them and getting them to think in ways they've never really thought of before, never even heard of before. It's kind of one of the great things about being an instructor is you get to lay these things on these kids they've never heard before and kind of either watch them fall asleep or watch their mouths drop open and say, wow, I never thought of that before, or can you kind of run that by me again, and really engage them. I see the importance of ideas, and that's really what education is about. It's the importance of ideas and what they mean to our lives. And I don't know about you, we've got a political events coming up with the presidential elections next year. I don't know how many of you spend time on Facebook. I do. And things tend to get and can get a little bit ugly on Facebook. You know, it's one of those things, you talk politics or religion, things get a little crazy. And I even noticed to myself, you know, I came home one night, my wife said, "Did you really post what you posted on Facebook?" And I had no idea what she was talking about. She said, "You really need to take that off of Facebook." So I went back and I looked at what I had posted and I thought, wow, she's right. I probably shouldn't have posted that. And I realized it wasn't a really great moment for me on Facebook. And there were probably other not so great moments I had on Facebook that I posted something out of frustration. And I began to hear this from other people. People are frustrated with other people. And it was interesting that I had a student, I wanted my students to write a mission statement about their lives. I wanted them to look ahead 70, 80, 100 years, imagine their friends, family coming by their casket, and I wanted them to tell me, what do you want people to say as they're looking at you lying there in that casket? What do you want to hear their thoughts? If you could hear their thoughts, what would you want those thoughts to convey about you? And so I had the student send back her mission statement at the end of her mission statement, and just a little bit of a warning here. I'm going to use some language you may not approve of, but it makes the point for the student, so I'm going to go ahead and use it, so I'll apologize beforehand. I don't mean to offend you. But the student said, "I just want to provide a loving environment for my family in a shitty world." And it really struck me because I began to think of that on a wider scale, and I thought, you know, I hear people say that all the time about this world. Not necessarily with that term, but this is a cruddy world. I don't want to bring kids into this world. And I thought, isn't it funny that we all think this world stinks, but we don't? And I realized that we do in some form or another, maybe not as bad as others, maybe worse than others, we stink. And ethics is this to me. This is my philosophy of ethics. Ethics is about this. We have to determine, number one, there's such a thing as truth in the world. And that important truth is that being a human being means something. That we have value, that we have worth, that we have significance. And if that's true about me, it's true about you. But I can't do anything about you when it comes to your value and significance, and you can't do anything about me when it comes to my value and significance. We and we alone are solely responsible for that. And that's why I came up with the name for this blog of BestYouRevolution, because we have political revolutions, and we all kind of know how those go. Somebody ends and loses poorly, and usually those who win wind up exerting their ideology in very unpleasant ways on everybody else. So we have political revolutions. Okay, we have sexual revolutions, and I don't even want to get into the problems that's caused in society, all right? There's all sorts of revolutions, and usually they don't end very well, or they don't go in the right direction, or it doesn't quite wind up being what everybody thought it was going to be. And why? Because you can't control everybody else. But we can control ourselves. We can determine our own thoughts, our own feelings, our own belief systems, our own choices, our own actions. So we have ultimate responsibility over ourselves. We can revolutionize ourselves. We can be the people we want everybody else to be, but can't seem to convince them to be it. And so that's why I need you. And I want you to be a part of this. If we can all recognize these few truths, that we have value and meaning, our lives have significance, and that we are solely responsible to enact that significance. If you can join me on that truth, let's work together. You help me, I'll help you on being the best people we can be. And you're responsible for you, and I'll be responsible for me. And you're probably not going to agree or like everything I say, and I don't expect you to do that, nor am I doing this blog to do that. I'm getting this blog together because I want us to think not about what you're doing, not about what I'm doing, not about what the Republicans and the Democrats are doing or Russia's doing, but about what you are doing. What you are doing, what you can do to change you, what I'm doing, what I can do to change me. And maybe we can encourage each other along that path. And so that's my philosophy. That's why I want you to be a part of it. And on my first post, I talked about what I think, and this, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, but in self-evaluating and really thinking about the choices I've made, I've come to a belief that there's 5 cores of my personality, or what makes up me, my center of intentionality. That is, there's the thinker, the feeler, the believer, the chooser, and the actor. But all of that flows out of the thinker and the thoughts I choose. And so I know that we all have thoughts that lead us in the wrong directions. So we have thoughts about our spouse. We have thoughts about that person who's posting that ridiculous stuff on Facebook. We have thoughts about our own existence. We have thoughts about our political system. And they cause us to feel certain things. And those feelings cause us to believe certain ways. And those things we believe cause us to make certain choices. And then those choices we want to make turns out to be actions. And the questions we have to ask ourselves is, between the thought and the action, are we going in the right direction? Is that initial thought true? Is it necessary? And is it taking me down the right road to the person I want to be? So I'm asking you, join me in the Best You Revolution, and let's think about ourselves. Let's think about our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our choices and actions. And let's become that person we've always wanted to be. And even so, let's become that person we think everybody else should be. And let's live that life we've always wanted to live. And be the people we've always wanted to be. So, I'm just asking you, post on here what that means to you, what you've heard, if you'd like to join me, why you'd like to join me, what are those things in you that you would really like to change, and let's do this together. Join the Best You Revolution, and let's change ourselves, and then maybe we won't have to worry so much about everybody else.